his last breath makes it possible for our first breath. His last breath makes it possible for our first breath. Look at what he says in verse 37. Then Jesus gave a loud cry and breathed his last. And the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. Now, when the centurion who stood facing him saw that in this way he breathed his last, he said, truly, this man is God's son. Jesus' last breath let us notice that two mysteries emerged from this text. First, the curtain of the temple was torn from top to bottom. Let us notice that if it had been torn from bottom to top, that would mean that man did it. Let me say that again. Somebody may have missed that. The curtain of the temple was torn from top to bottom. But if it had been torn from the bottom to the top, that would mean that man did it. It tore from top to bottom. That meant that God did it. God initiated this gracious act. This meant that access to God had been open to all, not just the Jews, but also the Gentiles. And brothers and sisters, in a world filled with separation and division, his breath made it possible for the healing of the nations. In a world filled with lies and innuendos, his breath made it possible for forgiveness. Jesus exhaled forsaken so that we might inhale forgiven. Satan had knocked the breath out of humanity, and Jesus came along and gave us a second wind. He breathed his last so we could breathe and take our first breath. Jesus exhaled death so we could inhale life. He exhaled humiliation so that we could inhale justification. You know, it's interesting how Mark writes the story of Jesus' crucifixion. He didn't do what Matthew or Luke did when in reference to the 7 last sayings. There's only one saying here in Mark's gospel. It's not, it is finished. It's not, I am thirsty. It is not, Father, into thy hands I could commend my spirit. The only thing he says, he breathed his last. But Mark draws our attention away from the bystanders, away from the veil of the temple that had been torn from top to bottom. And he focuses the camera on the centurion, a Roman soldier. And notice what the Roman soldier said, that truly this man was God's son. In my mind, I'm thinking, how did the Roman soldier come to that reality? Well, maybe perhaps this Roman soldier was with Judas and the entourage of other soldiers when Judas betrayed Jesus, and he watched Jesus there. And maybe this Roman soldier was with Jesus when he was in the courtyard of Caiaphas watching from a distance what was going on. And maybe this Roman soldier played a role in flogging Jesus 39 times. And maybe this Roman soldier played a role in when he was with Pilate and he watched how he responded to Pilate. Maybe this Roman soldier watched Jesus walk the Via Dolorosa, and now he's here at the cross. And all of us have to make a decision when we look at the cross. All of us have to say what this Roman soldier said, truly, this man is the Son of God. He came to grips with that reality. But I thought it was interesting, brothers and sisters, that this didn't come from his Jewish brothers and sisters. It came from a Gentile. This revelation didn't come from church folk. It came from a Gentile, a heathen is what the Jewish people would call him, a dog. Here this Roman soldier says, truly, this man is the Son of God. The beautiful thing about what Mark is doing, Mark is able, he ends this chapter 3 as if to say his last breath wasn't his last move. That's what Mark seems to be saying, that his last breath wasn't his last move. Reverend Jeremiah Wright, pastor emeritus of Trinity United Church of Christ, tells the story of a group of tourists who visited a London gallery and viewed a painting entitled Checkmate. In it, there's a young man who seems to be worried, and he's looking at the chessboard, and then the other figure is Satan, and the young man has sold his soul to Satan. And there they are looking at the chessboard, and Satan knows in his mind that he has this young man where he wants him. Well, the group continue their tour of the gallery without noticing that they have left one in their number behind. The man places back and forth in front of the picture. And 2 corridors later, the piece of the gallery is shattered as they hear their forgotten company cry, "It's a lie! It's a lie! The king has another move." The man was a Russian international chess champion, and he could see the moves that others had failed to notice. And the same thing is true when it comes, my brothers and sisters, to the King of Kings. The king always has another move. And I don't know what you're going through today, but I want you to know that the king has another move. I don't know what you're going through in your finances, but I want you to know today that the king has another move. I don't know what's going on in your family, but I want you to know that the king has another move over your life. I don't know what's going on in your relationships or in your marriage, but the king has another move in your situation. And so, brothers and sisters, I want you to know, if you don't remember anything else today, that the king has another move.